She cried for mercy as the billionaire closed the door on her dreams. Alone, broken, and pregnant, she thought it was the end, until destiny sent a poor boy whose heart shone brighter than all the gold she lost. They say what you do in secret, God reveals in public. But let me tell you something. If a pregnant woman with a swollen belly and torn uniform stood crying at your mansion gate, would you open it? Would you even ask why she was bleeding? Would you give her water, let alone shelter? No, most people wouldn't. They'd call security. They'd whisper to their children, "Don't stare. She's not our problem." They'd close the curtains, like suffering could stain their marble floors. But that morning in Lagos, inside a gleaming estate with golden gates and imported roses blooming in neat rows, the most powerful man in the city had just thrown out his maid, pregnant, abandoned, left on the hot street like garbage. And the only person who stopped to help was the homeless boy everyone called cursed. Her name was Adiz Okonkwo, 23 years old, soft voice, gentle hands. She worked as a housemaid for the Olanrewaju family, one of the richest families in Victoria Island. She cleaned their 12 bedrooms, washed their silk curtains, cooked jollof rice for their dinner parties. People called her the quiet one. But that morning, she was just a girl in pain. 5 months pregnant, jobless, bleeding from her side where Madam had pushed her down the stairs. The gate slammed behind her. No money in her pocket, no phone, no family to call. The pain came like fire, sharp, twisting, hot. She clutched her stomach, the faded blue uniform sticking to her skin with sweat and blood. Adiz couldn't shout, couldn't stand straight, couldn't even lift her head. All she saw, through the blur of tears, was a small shadow crouching near the gutter. A boy, 10, maybe 11, burnt skin, ripped singlet, bare feet, and something in his lap, a cracked bowl and half a loaf of moldy bread. Was he watching her? Yes, but not to mock, to decide. Then he stood up slowly, walked toward her, and before she could beg, he knelt down and whispered, "Sister, you day bleed. Make I help you?" His name was Chitty. He didn't have a surname, didn't have parents, didn't even know what school looked like. He slept behind a dumpster near Falomo Bridge, shared cigarette butts with older boys, and drank Gary mixed with dirty water. But the night his grandmother died, when he was 6, she held his hand and said one thing: "If you see Person Way fall down, pick him up. Even if not, only your hand you fit, give am." So when he saw Adiz bleeding on the curb, he didn't walk away. He stayed. With shaking fingers, Chitty tore a piece from his own shirt and pressed it gently against her side. "Sister, no sleep?" "Oh," he said, voice trembling. "Open your eye. I day with you. We go find help." But she was fading. In and out, blood soaking through her dress. Breathing slow, eyes closing. All around them, cars honked and sped past. No one stopped. No one looked. But Chitty didn't move. He saw a woman selling oranges across the road. He ran to her, barefoot on the hot tar. "Mama, I beg." One Sister Day die for road. She carry bell. The woman waved him off. "Comment from my front, you dirty Pekin." He tried a Danfo driver. "Oga, I beg help. I no get time for trouble." He tried a security guard, a teacher, a pastor in a white robe. No one came. Chitty ran back to Adiz. She was lying flat now, eyes half closed, lips dry. He didn't know what else to do, so he did the only thing left. He prayed, not in English, not in Igbo, just in tears. "God, if you dare beg, she never born the Pekin yet, make you save her." And then, like something heard him, a black Camry pulled over. Slow, careful, the window rolled down. A woman's face appeared, middle-aged, head tie, tired eyes. She looked at Adiz, then at Chitty, then back at the blood. "Wedding happen?" she asked quietly. Chitty's voice cracked. "She need hospital. I no get money, but she go die." The woman stared at him for 5 full seconds. Then she opened the back door, carried her inside. Chitty lifted Adiz with every bit of strength his small body had. Her head rested on his shoulder. Her breath was faint. The woman drove fast, but steady. She didn't ask questions, didn't scold, didn't even ask for a name. She just drove. And when they reached the hospital gate, she handed the nurse 2,000 naira. "Take care of her," she said. "I go come back." The nurse looked confused. "Madam, you be her mama?" "No," the woman replied. "But today, I be her angel." She turned to Chitty, pressed another 200 naira into his palm, and said, "You get better heart than plenty people wear suit. No let this world spoil you." Then she left. Chitty stood there, holding the money like it was gold. He had never been called good before, only dirty, only useless. But today, someone saw him. Adiz woke up 6 hours later. White ceiling, drip in her arm, soft pillows. A nurse smiled at her. "You lucky-o, your Pekin's still day alive." Adiz blinked. Who bring me?" The nurse shrugged. "Some woman, and one small boy. The boy no even wear slippers." Tears filled Adiz's eyes. She tried to sit up. "Wear him day. I want thank am." But the nurse shook her head. "Him don go since. No leave name. Nothing." And just like that, he was gone. Adiz stayed in that hospital for 2 days. A kind doctor waived half the bill. A cleaner brought her food from home. And when she was strong enough to leave, a church sister took her to a shelter in Surleer. But all Adiz could think about was that boy, that small, barefoot boy who knelt in her blood when the world walked away. She didn't even know his name. But something inside her changed. This girl, who had served the rich, who had been used and thrown away like trash, had been saved by the very person the rich called waste. She kept seeing his eyes, his shaking hands, that torn cloth pressed so gently on her wound. And she made a promise, right there in the shelter, hand on her belly. "If this child survives, I go find that boy, and I go return the kindness." But life had other plans, because 2 years later, when her son turned 2, that same boy appeared again. And this time he wasn't begging. He was running. What was he running from? Why did he come back? And what Adiz discovered next shattered everything she thought she knew about mercy, about blood, and about who really saves who. 2 years later, Adiz stood in front of a small kiosk selling sachet water and biscuits. It wasn't much, just a wooden table under a blue tarpaulin. But it was hers. She built it with her own hands, paid for it by braiding hair at night and frying puff-puff at dawn. Her son, Obinna, sat on a mat beside her, playing with bottle caps and laughing at nothing. He had her eyes, her smile, and every time she looked at him, she remembered she almost lost him on that street, in that blood, if not for a boy with no name. "Mama, water," Obinna called, reaching up. She poured him a cup and kissed his forehead. But as she looked up, her heart stopped. Across the road, running, barefoot, a boy. It was him. She didn't think. She just ran. "Chitty!" she screamed. "Chitty, wait!" But he didn't stop. He was running from something, or someone. Behind him, 2 older boys were chasing. Angry, loud. "Thief! Thief! Catch him!" Adiz's stomach twisted. She ran faster, past the market women, through the crowd, nearly tripping on her wrapper. "Chitty? Nami, Sister Adiz." Finally, he turned. His face was older, thinner, eyes more tired. But it was him, the same boy. And in that moment, he stopped running. He just stood there, chest heaving, staring at her like he had seen a ghost. "Sister," he whispered. She nodded, tears already falling. The crowd caught up. Hands grabbed him. Voices shouted, "You know this thief?" One man barked at her. Adiz pushed him back. "Leave him. He no thief anything." "He steal phone from my shop," a woman yelled, shoving a cracked smartphone in her face. "I no steal am." Chitty cried. "I find him for ground. I swear." But no one believed him. They never did. Adiz looked at the phone, looked at Chitty, looked at the crowd, ready to beat him, and without thinking, she opened her purse. How much the phone cost? The woman blinked. Wedding. I say how much? 7,000. Adi's hand shook. That was all she had saved this week. Rent money. Obina's medicine money. But she pulled it out, every note, and handed it over. Take. Let him go. The woman snatched the money and walked off. The crowd mumbled and scattered. And Chitty stood there, face streaked with tears, staring at the woman who just gave up everything for him. Again, she took him back to the kiosk, gave him water, bread, a mat to sit on. He ate slowly, like someone who hadn't eaten in days. Obina stared at him with wide eyes. Mama, now your friend? Adi smiled. Yes, my love. Naim, save us. Chitty looked up, voice small. You remember me? Every single day, she whispered. He wiped his eyes with the back of his hand. I know no say you still day alive. I look for you that time, but hospitals say you don't leave. Adiz nodded. I look for you too. Nobody know your name. Nobody know where you stay. He shrugged. I day anywhere. Nowhere. She sat beside him. Not anymore. That night, Chitty slept inside the kiosk. It was cramped, hot, smelled like kerosene and damp wood. But to him, it was the first time in 2 years he slept without fear. Adiz stayed awake. She watched him breathe, watched him curl up like a child who had never known peace. And she whispered to herself, God, I know get money. I know get house. But this boy, I know go let him sleep for street again. The next morning, she woke him gently. Chitty, wake up. He blinked confused, then scared, like maybe she changed her mind. But she smiled. You go help me sell today. I go pay you. His eyes went wide. You serious? Yes. But first we go bath you. Cut your hair. Buy you slippers. He shook his head quickly. Sister, no waste money for me. She held his face in both hands. You no be waste. You be blessing. And for the first time in his life, Chitty cried from something other than pain. Weeks passed. Chitty worked every day. He carried crates, swept the corner, called customers, smiled. People started noticing. Adiz, now your Pekin? No, she'd reply. Nah, my brother. And she meant it. Obina clung to him, called him Brother Chitty, shared his biscuits with him. At night, the three of them squeezed onto one man in the back of the kiosk. It wasn't comfortable, but it was home. But peace doesn't last long in Lagos. One evening, a black Jeep pulled up in front of the kiosk. Tinted windows, loud engine, expensive. The door opened. A man stepped out, tall, fitted agbada, gold wristwatch. Adi's blood turned cold. It was him, Chief Olanrawaju, the man whose house she worked in, the man whose wife pushed her down the stairs, the man who threw her out like trash. He looked at her kiosk, at her son, at Chitty. Then he smiled, slow and ugly. Adiz, long time. Her throat went dry. Sir, he glanced at Obina. So you born the thing. She pulled her son closer, said nothing. Chief Olanrawaju chuckled. You still days sell pure water. I see say life teach you lesson. Chitty stood up, small, skinny, but his voice was firm. Oga, when you want? The chief looked down at him like something stuck to his shoe. Who be this one? My brother. Adiz said quickly. Brother? He laughed. You in street rat day calling yourselves family now? Chitty clenched his fists, but Adiz touched his shoulder. Make we no answer, am. Chief Olanrawaju leaned in close. I just come remind you, say that Pekin you carry, not my blood, and one day I fit come collect am. Adiz's heart nearly stopped. You no fit touch my son. He grinned. We go see. Then he got back in his Jeep and drove off. That night, Adiz couldn't sleep. She held Obina tight. Too tight. Chitty sat beside her in the dark. Sister, wasn't it mean? She swallowed hard. The chief, Naim get me pregnant. Him force me. Then him wife find out and throw me comet. Chitty's jaw tightened. So, Obina nine Pekin? She nodded, tears falling. But I no want him near my son. Never. Chitty looked at Obina, sleeping peacefully, small chest rising and falling. And something inside him hardened. He whispered, Sister, I no go let anybody take this boy. I swear for my life. But 3 days later, the chief came back, this time with papers. And this time he wasn't smiling. He was claiming his son. The letter came on a Wednesday morning, delivered by a man in a black suit who didn't even look her in the eye. Adi's hands trembled as she unfolded it. The words blurred at first, then sharpened like knives. Notice of paternity claim. Chief Olamrawaja demands custody of the male child, Obina Okonkwo, born out of wedlock. Failure to appear in court will result in immediate seizure of said child. She dropped the paper. Her knees hit the ground. Chitty rushed over. Sister, wouldn't happen. She couldn't speak, just shook her head over and over. He picked up the letter. Read it slowly, his lips moving with each word. Then his face went dark. They want carry Obina? She nodded, choking on her tears. I no get money for lawyer. I no even get proof say I be a mama well. Dem fit take am, Chitty. Dem fit just take am. Obina toddled over, confused. Mama, why you day cry? She pulled him into her chest and sobbed. Chitty stood there, fists clenched, breathing hard. Then he said something that surprised even himself. We go fight. Adiz looked up. With wedding, we no get nothing. We get truth, he said, and we get people way sobby us. That same day, Chitty did something he had never done before. He went back to the street, not to beg, not to hide, to gather. He found the boys under the bridge, the ones who used to share bread with him, the ones who slept in the same gutter. He told them what was happening. At first they laughed. Chitty, you want fight, big man? You day craze. But then he said something that silenced them. If dem fit take Obina today, dem go come for your Pekin tomorrow, for your sister, for anybody way no get money. Nah, so he day start. The laughter stopped. One boy, Emeka, the oldest, stood up. Wedding you need. Within 2 days, Chitty had gathered 12 boys. They didn't have money, didn't have power, but they had voices, and they knew how to be seen. They made a plan. On the day of the court hearing, they would stand outside, hold signs, sing, shout, make noise, because in Lagos, noise is the only language the powerful fear. But Adiz was still afraid. The night before court, she couldn't eat, couldn't think. She just held Obina and whispered the same prayer over and over. God, if you day a beg, no let dem take my Pekin. Chitty sat across from her, sharpening a small stick with a razor blade. Sister, why you day do that? She asked. He didn't look up. In case wedding? He finally met her eyes. In case dem try take him by force. Her heart broke. Chitty, you be small boy. You fit die. He smiled, sad but steady. Better I die than make that boy grow up thinking say nobody fight for am. The court was in Acadia, a tall gray building with too many stairs and not enough mercy. Adiz wore her best wrapper, the one she kept for church. She braided her hair, scrubbed Obina's face until it shined. Chitty wore the only shirt he had, torn at the sleeve, but clean. When they arrived, the crowd was already there, not just the 12 boys, but more. Market women, kiki drivers, hairdressers, vulcanizers, people who knew Adiz, people who bought water from her kiosk, people who had watched her raise Obina with nothing but love. They held signs written on cardboard, leave Adiz Pekin alone. Rich man no fit by love. Obina belonged to him mama. Adiz's eyes filled with tears. She turned to Chitty. You do this? He nodded. You no be alone, sister. Inside the courtroom, it was cold. Chief Olamrawaja sat at the front. Clean Igbata, gold rings, lawyer beside him in a sharp suit. He didn't even look at Adiz. The judge entered. Everyone stood. The case began. Chief's lawyer spoke first. Smooth, confident. My client is a man of means, a businessman, a leader. He wishes only to provide for his biological son, a son currently living in poverty, in unsafe conditions, with no future. He gestured toward Adiz like she was dirt. This woman cannot provide education, cannot provide health care, cannot even provide a roof. The judge looked at Adiz. Is this true? She stood slowly, voice shaking. I no get big house, but my son day happy. Him day grow well. Him day see love every day. The chief's lawyer smirked. Love does not pay school fees, Your Honor. The judge frowned. Do you have legal representation, Miss Okonkwo? She shook her head. No, sir. Then I'm afraid. Suddenly, the courtroom doors swung open. A woman walked in. Older, head wrap, simple dress. The same woman who drove Adiz to the hospital 2 years ago. She walked straight to the judge. Your Honor, I be witness. The judge blinked. Witness to what? To the day this girl nearly died. To the day this same man way day where bada. Him wife push her downstairs because she get bell. I carry her for hospital myself. The room went silent. Chief Olamrawaju shifted in his seat. His lawyer stood. Your Honor, this is hearsay. But the woman wasn't done. I get the hospital record. I get the nurse report. And I get the name of the doctor Wade treat her that day. She pulled papers from her bag and handed them to the judge. The judge read, slowly, then looked up at the chief. Is this true? Chief Olamrawaju cleared his throat. Your Honor, what happened in my house is private. Private? The woman's voice rose. You rape this girl. You throw her for street. You know send whether she live or die. And now you want to carry her son. The courtroom erupted. The judge banged his gavel. Order. Then Chitty stood. Small, thin, barefoot. Sir, I want talk. The judge looked down at him. And who are you? I be the boy way see her that day. I be the one-way beg person to help her. And I tell you now, this woman not better mama pass all the rich people way sit on for this room. The chief's lawyer laughed. Your Honor, this is a street child. I be street child, yes, Chitty said loudly. But I know when good mama look like, because I no ever see my own. But Adiz, she feed me. She give me shelter. She treat me like person. And if you take her son, you go kill her. His voice cracked. The room was quiet now. Even the judge leaned forward. What is your name, boy? Chitty, sir. And you live with her? Yes, sir. Why? Chitty looked at Adiz, then at Obinna. Because she teach me say family no be blood. Nah who stay. The judge closed the file. He looked at Chief Olamrawaju for a long moment. Then he spoke. I will not award custody to a man who abandoned the mother of his child in her most vulnerable moment. I will not place a child in a home built on violence and silence. The chief stood. Your Honor, I have rights. You have money, the judge said coldly. That is not the same. He turned to Adiz. Miss Okonkwo, this court recognizes you as the sole guardian of your son. The claim is dismissed. Adiz collapsed into her chair, sobbing. Chitty grabbed her hand. Outside, the crowd erupted in cheers. But as they left the courthouse, the chief stood by his car, watching, not angry, just cold. He whispered to his driver, find out everything about that boy. What did he mean? What was he planning? And what happened next would test everything Adiz and Chitty had built. 3 months after the court case, life almost felt normal. Adiz's kiosk was busier now. Word had spread. People came not just for water, but to see the woman who stood up to a rich man. And won. Chitty was different too. He smiled more, played with Obinna, even started learning to read from an old newspaper someone gave him. At night, the three of them still squeezed onto one mat. But now, they laughed before they slept. Adiz thought maybe, just maybe, the storm was over. She was wrong. It started small. A man came to the kiosk one evening. Friendly, well-dressed, Good evening, sister. You be at D's? She nodded. Yes. You want to buy something? He smiled. No. I come with opportunity. Her stomach tightened. When kind. He handed her a business card. Clean. Printed. Chief Olamarwaja Foundation. Youth Empowerment Program. She dropped it like fire. I no need him help. The man raised his hands. Sister, you no be like that. The chief him don change. Him want support single mothers. Him don register NGO. Plenty people don benefit. She stared at him. You think say I day craze? I just day do my work, ma. Think about He placed an envelope on the table. That one not transport. If you change your mind, call the number. Then he left. Adiz tore the envelope open. Inside, 10,000 naira. Her hands shook. That was 2 weeks' profit. Chitty came back from throwing trash. Sister, wouldn't happen? She showed him the money. Told him everything. His face went hard. Sister, you no fit collect that money. I know, she whispered. But Obina need new shoes. We never pay rent finish. Chitty took the money from her hand, folded it, placed it back in the envelope. If we chop this one, we go pay with our soul. And he threw it in the gutter. But the foundation didn't stop.